Jonathan Wilson-Hartgrove here. I'm at the Rootba House in Durham, North Carolina, thinking about Lent and this 40-day journey toward Easter. And in the history of Christian practice, one piece of our Lenten practice has classically been alms-giving, sharing money with those who are in need or with the poor. It always reminds me of what Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, that we ought to give to whoever asks. And I think that's a passage that the American church especially has wrestled with. We have to remember, of course, that Jesus said you cannot serve both God and money. And as people who live in the richest nation to ever exist in the history of the world, I think we naturally have this struggle with money. The practice of giving to whoever asks, what I think is one of Jesus' tactics for slipping the God's economy into the world as it is. This practice is there, I think, not so much to show us a kind of strategy for how we can help those who are in need. If we take it that way, I think we soon find it to be ridiculous. I mean, if you've ever been part of a mercy ministry, or if you're ever on a foundation board that's trying to decide how to give money away, giving to whoever asks, I think we find laughable. But I don't think that's the way Jesus meant it. I think when Jesus talked about money, Jesus was teaching us tactics for how we can slip into the world as it is, a new economy that we don't have to create, that we don't have to muster up the energy or the people, to get a majority for, but rather an economy that already exists, an economy of abundance, of the God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hillsides, the God who spoke everything out of nothing. And this is an economy of abundance, and we're invited to participate in it when we give to whoever asks. It's always struck me that giving to whoever asks is a teaching that Jesus offers in the context of his teaching on enemy love. Jesus is teaching that we need to love our enemy, and in the course of saying what that means, says that we should give to whoever asks. And I think it's a cue to us. It's a cue to us, especially those of us who come from some measure of privilege, some measure of having money, that the poor are often, in our imagination, our enemy. We distance ourselves from them. We see them as other than us, and that Jesus is called to love our enemy. Jesus' call to give to whoever asks is an invitation into relationship. It's an invitation to realize that we need that other person. And the most concrete example that I've experienced of that is living for the past decade in a house of hospitality, in a place where when folks who are on the street ask us for money, we often ask them what they need. And when people are homeless, we invite them to eat with us at our table, and have invited them to live with us here in our home. And what we've learned from those relationships is that the people who are there have incredibly complicated lives. They have all sorts of challenges that we would always like to ignore, but that coming face to face with them, we've learned something about what real Christian hope is. Thomas Merton said, Christian hope begins where every other hope stands frozen stiff before the power of the unspeakable, with the powers and principalities of this world. That's where Christian hope begins. And somehow, I think Jesus is inviting us into this vision of a community where rich and poor, black, brown, and white, incarcerated and not incarcerated, people from all different backgrounds are becoming part of one family and realizing that we're not here to help someone else, but we're here because we need this community. John Vanier likes to say that people come to Christian community because they want to help the poor. They stay in Christian community when they realize that they are the poor. We are the poor, and yet God has given us an opportunity to participate in an economy where we share, and the one who had too much doesn't have too much, and the one who had too little no longer has too little, because everyone has according to their need. And I'd invite you on this Lenten journey consider how giving to whoever asks can be a way of entering into God's economy right in the place where you are.